Good day and welcome to all the South Africans, how's it? To the Taiwanese friends, ni hao. To the Russians, dobry dien. To the English, good day. To the Italians, ciao. And to everybody else, hello and hello and welcome. Now, the talk today is one I think that affects all of us in some way or another, especially in these days. And there's multiple reasons for this talk today. And because we're in lockdown, we are forced to lose contact with each other. And we are divided as families. We are divided from our friends. Our economies are collapsing.
Of dat mensen die zo stop met die stream gaan. Dan kan ik pas een stream zien. Waar kan ons zien of daar nog iets in de achtergrond is of niet?
Nee, maar ek sien nie die chat nie.
Dis fijn.
Ek kan nie sien as iemand met my chat nie. Ek bring gewoonlik die chatbox op.
Word die chatbox toegemaak?
Nee, ek het niks toegemaak.
Kom in de settings en dan speel my.
Restream kom outomaties op. As ek hom oopmaak, kom daai chatbox outomaties van die restream op.
Probeer nou stream sien of dit opgaan.
Maar jy het die laaste keer toe ek op hierdie mode was, kon jy my nie sien nie. Dit was net 'n blank.
Nee, ek kon pas.
Nee, hy bring die hele ding kom jy aan die kant op outomaties. Laat ek hom toemaak en weer oopmaak.
Nee, dis dit. Anders maak net die pas op Twitch kant hier oop en dan sien wat se comments is.
Ja, kan jy dit nou doen? Ek het nou klaar begin, so mense sit nou en wag. So wat nou?
Ek sê dat ons nog so weer so van.
Nee, is nie Betty al almal kyk.
Dit het niemand online gewees nie. Nee, maar
Ja, maar hulle kyk van YouTube af. Jy sal nie sien op Twitch nie.
ek wil stream ons wel kyk op YouTube is. Check net pas WhatsApp. So pas WhatsApp
Humble apologies for that because it seems like we've got a little bit of a problem with the streaming software that I've got. I can't see any of my chats coming up. So if you like to chat to me or ask me some questions, please do it on WhatsApp. For some reason, there's a gremlin in the system. I suppose this is what the energy of anger does also. It's a very powerful energy. And it affects people and everything around you, especially electronic equipment. Anyways, to carry on, because we're in lockdown, forced to be in lockdown, and we divided from our friends and family, our economies are collapsing, people's jobs are lost, there's crime, there's wars, and what does people do? People become frustrated, they become angry. And anger is one of the most important areas for all of us to work with. Now, it is a destructive emotion for yourself and others around you, especially the people close to you. Now, some people suppress their anger because they might fear of what they might unlock. And it's working destruction, sometimes quietly and sometimes not so quietly. And one of the major blockages is what we talked about, and that was fear. And that was a discussion we had last week, was the discussion on fear. And if there's a request for it, I'll repeat the discussion on that topic, because it's also a very important one. Not only does everything that's happening around us create fear, but also anger and then a lot of other emotions that come with it. Now, The only reality that is real is an emotional reality. Now, the single emotion that produces that fear the greatest and maintains the fear of that intensity is anger. Now, if anger is suppressed, if you don't express your anger, it becomes lethal. And so, honestly, you cannot delay unlocking and releasing your anger. Unlike other rehabilitating forces, it does not lie dormant within you until you are ready to work with it. Now, it is actively destroying you from the inside, and it also destroys people around you. Even though you might fear that if you're effectively suppressing, effectively repressing, your anger is working quietly. And anger itself, okay, to express your anger is not destructive, but it's the suppressing of that anger that's destructive. Some people say, I cannot express my anger because I might hurt somebody. But that's not true. Unreleased anger not only hurts others, it's hurting you. It is suppression and repression that is destructive, not the anger itself. Now, anger is an active emotion. And when you try to sustain it in its dormant state, it becomes a destructive force rather than a liberating force that it could be. So often people look at their suppressed anger with certain nonchalance and say, you know what, poor me. I'm just unable to express my anger. And as soon as I get my life in order, well, I'll get around to dealing with it sometime. It's because they say that, because for them it's too big and scary. They just can't do it. I'm afraid my anger might hurt somebody. Well, it not only hurts other people, it's already hurting others and it's destroying you. Some people think that anger can be hidden by being sweet and nice. But anger will, sooner or later, it's going to come out. It's going to find a way. Now, to process anger and deal with it, no matter how fearful it might seem, is entirely up to you. The choice is yours. Okay, you can deal with your anger productively or destructively. If you choose to say, I don't have anger, I can guarantee you today that it will manifest itself in one form or another. Usually, where does it manifest? In your body. Okay? You can deal with anger in a positive manner, whether through meditations or whatever other means. There's prayers. Some people deal with it in completely different. Each of us, individuals, we're different. So we deal with it differently. And to deal with the illness, part of the anger is a different workshop. I've already dealt with illnesses and accidents. And it is available on YouTube. You'll find it, the recordings there. And because that's a completely session on its own. I touched on it, but I will go into more detail on illnesses a little bit later on. Now, the most destructive illness of anger is, you guessed it, cancer. People, however, do not want to recognize it and admit it. It may take 10 years, it can take as much as 20 years. But anger will be processed through a self-destructive cancer and which will eat away on the person's body. It will destroy them. There's also the mental part of anger which is destructive. The negative part of oneself feeds on anger and breeds on it. For example, when you were friends, okay, and a friend accidentally knocks over a very valuable vase, which might be sentimental value or it might be financial value or monetary value. But because it's a close friend, you know they won't do anything to harm you. But the negative mode, that little negative part of a person switches on and starts telling you, they knocked off the vase because they were angry about something that I have done. They might be jealous because they can't afford a beautiful vase like that. Then rather looking at the situation and saying, you know what, the vase was knocked over accidentally. Maybe someone cleaned it and left it too close to the edge, or there was something in the person's way and they had to walk around it and they accidentally knocked down the vase. So the negative part, okay, is what feeds that anger. And another area where anger develops is at work. Constantly there are people who work with you who creates anger in yourself. It might be a boss that was unfair. It might be somebody claiming credit for work that you have done. It might be a promotion that someone else received where you feel that you should have received that promotion. Or it might be that your increase was too low. At home, the bills or the accounts do not get paid. The husband or wife does not help with the housework, with the cleaning. Sexual needs are not fulfilled. Arguments. All of this, everything, all of this leads to anger. And that anger is quietly sitting there. It's festering. Quietly. It's going to be quietly festering. Okay? So you start to notice people around you being angry. Have you ever come across a situation where you see people around you just constantly angry at you? And you think, but why? What have I done? It's a clue. Can you guess? It's a reflection of your own anger. What does suppressed anger do to your self-esteem? It damages it. Further, your self-esteem is severely damaged by the suppression and repression of anger. You cannot be honest with yourself, and therefore your self-esteem gets destroyed. Anger destroys integrity and the ability to act spontaneously. Responsibility is another thing. The more you take responsibility for your own actions, the more you will build your own self-esteem. If you suppress anger, are you going to take responsibility? No, you're not. So people with suppressed anger will try and rationalize and intellectualize in order to deny responsibility. They deny everything anger is doing. How can you trust your own actions if you don't take responsibility for your own actions? To trust yourself is to be able to move in and out of your subconscious mind. You cannot say, I do not want to express myself because I do not trust myself what I might do when I get angry. I'm sure you've heard that one as well. So how can you express anger if you can't trust yourself? So what happens next? You turn to other people for validation. You turn to the outside for your self-esteem. And what happens? You only want more and more and more. You become competitive, which is another form of anger. You feel powerless and you start resenting others. This prevents you to turn to your power inside and access your self-esteem. Now, guilt is another reason why people don't express their anger. How can I express my anger when I don't have the right to do so? People believe when they are guilty, they cannot be happy. How have they got the right to be happy when they're guilty? Guilt prevents people to succeed. Anger makes you feel guilty, and the guilt makes you angry. It's a circle, a vicious one. They must always be in control. So, men must learn not to express their emotions. They must go back into the back room, go and eat something. But whatever they're being told from young, whatever you do, don't let anybody see your emotions. You have to be in control. You cannot show it. You have to be cool. But let me tell you something, you women are no better off. Okay? If you get upset and yell, then you being labeled as a domineering, controlling woman. So no matter what gender you are taught to keep your emotions intact. There's no reason to become angry. Some religions teach that you have to rise above anger. Do not get angry, but love all. Love you, I love you. Just love everyone. You're not allowed to get angry. When someone makes you angry, you smile and you give them love. But did you really? All you gave them was anger under the disguise of loveliness, being sweet. Then you have people who are advanced and they were able to deal with anger. They still get angry, but they know how to express it appropriately. They become detached from the situation, meaning that they acknowledge their anger, they deal with it, and then they let it go. They don't hold on to the anger. They don't hold it against others for what someone else did. They do not spoil someone else's day, and they don't allow it to spoil theirs. They detach from that anger. The person who thinks they can deal with anger will say, I will not get angry with you, but I will love you. I will carry that anger and take it out on everybody else I meet today. So the person who caused you to be angry smiles silently because they know they got away with it. Now, true expression is having dealt with it and moving on, detaching yourself completely. Suppressing anger is not being spiritual. It's dealing with it. The other reason is most people do not know, they've never been taught how to deal with anger. And they've never been explained why the anger is there and how to let it go. So that's why some of the people think that to dealing with anger is to go into the next room and yell and scream as loud as they can and think that's dealing with anger. But sorry to inform you today, but that does not work very well. Because nobody wants to see a scary person screaming and shouting. So, they know this. So what happens? Once again, they suppress it. But unfortunately, anger sustains the negative part in people. If you cannot be a good guy or a good girl, then and this is unfortunately what a lot of people say. If I can't be good or boy or girl, then I'll just be the opposite. I'll be the bad boy or bad girl. And I'm sure you can think of plenty of examples like that. Just look at some of your celebrities who's been coined or named the bad boy of music or the bad girl of music. And what do they use? They use that anger to dominate and control others. I'm sure you've heard this before. You don't want to see me angry. You must be very careful. But unfortunately, the fact of the matter is some companies are actually managed in this way. This is unfortunately a reason why people don't allow the anger out, because they're afraid of what might happen. So again, people become fearful. And men and women use anger. There are some people who unfortunately use anger to become powerful. And people hold on to the anger and they don't want to let it go because it makes them feel powerful. And I'm sure of all of this that I've said, I'm sure through your minds as you're listening now, that you can actually bring up some examples, maybe even use them yourself. The meaner and tougher and the more angry people are, the more they will be admired. And a lot of these examples are used in the military and the police. But this is also a self-importance image. The image of being the top person. And this same thing backfired on me and impacted my life personally in a huge way. And while serving in the State President's Guard, it harmed myself and harmed a lot of people in many ways. I mean, for instance, if you get beaten up for 6 hours non-stop, that anger, you're not allowed to show that anger, it gets suppressed, and it affects your life. Until I made a conscious decision to start healing myself and start doing something about this anger, because I know it was destroying people, not family and the family around me. And I started to healing myself, and I made that conscious choice. I made that conscious choice to deal with that anger. And that is when my life started improving. Now, anger is also a way for people to hold on to the past. Memories of past childhood, adolescence. Many people do not know how to move forward, and therefore they hold on to the past, even those through anger. Being angry is a ticket for some to have free rein to being selfish, to harm others, and just to be plain mean. If someone hurts you, you go, you know what, I'm a bad boy, a bad girl, so watch out next time, be careful. And unfortunately, some young kids today, they use it. And they love being angry, because they get to be heroes through being angry. Some people and kids invent stories about how nasty their parents are, how bad their parents are, just in order for them to fit in with other kids. They feel they become admired by being angry, and they love it. It allows them to behave any way they want. So what does anger do? Anger prevents them from seeing the impact they have on others and on themselves. And unfortunately, people love to bathe in their sorrow. They love to hold on to their sorrow. In the angry life, they get to hold on to it. So holding on to this sorrow, they get other people to feel sorry for them. They get to punish in relationships. And the excuse always is, oh, but I was badly hurt in my previous relationship. My parents treated me like dirt. I'm angry. People are afraid of losing the image if they give up anger. They are afraid that they might lose control over their lives, that they will not be able to manipulate anyone. They're afraid of losing power. Is this true? No, it's not. True power is not manipulating other people through anger. True power is the ability to create your life as you want it through love. People think that they will lose friendships because they're afraid if they express themselves, they won't be liked. Will they be liked if they're constantly angry and in self-pity? No. If you start expressing yourself and you lose friends, then they weren't your friends in the first place. If you express your anger positively, without punishing, and you lose friends, then you've lost nothing. True friends will stay with you. Your friendship will become stronger if you express anger positively. If you express anger nastily, and you keep the friends, then you're surely going to lose good friends. Friends who stay with you when anger is ugly are friends who want to be manipulated. You are here in this life to learn and to grow. If these friends help you to destroy yourself, get rid of them today. Your life is more important, more valuable. Now at this point you may say, I do release my anger. I've tried many times, but my anger is still there, it doesn't go away. Now at this point then you need to ask yourself, what are you not facing? Why am I still holding on to self-importance? Who am I punishing? Is self-pity still important to me? What am I afraid of losing? I have no anger, I have no image, I have no friends, I have no control. Now, after all of this, you might ask the question now, how do we release anger? Well, I can tell you this, after talking, one of the best things, have a cup of coffee. Nothing better. Nice, good cup of coffee releases all anger. But seriously now. Firstly, make a list starting from your childhood. Be quiet with yourself. Close your eyes, relax. Remember every incident in order from the most recent or the event that made you angry the most. Write it down. Become that child or that person. Not the adult that you are now. Try to remember as much information about the incident as possible. You write it down. You need to feel it. You need to replay the incident. See what happens when you do that. And then do what you wanted to do in that situation, what you should have done. Scream, shout, release your anger there in that situation. Then after you've done that, then you write down how you feel. Do you feel free? Do you feel joy? Do you feel released? But really, the most important thing here is to be honest with yourself. Do you feel any worse? Maybe you need to go and redo the incident and do it a few times until you have released it. Another way is to imagine your life without anger. What would it be like to have a life where anger is not clouding your judgment or your decisions? Imagine what would you lose if you let go of the anger. Would you lose anything? You can do this in a meditation, and you can create a new reality for yourself. You can imagine a new reality. Imagine, just use your wonderful imagination, and imagine a reality without fear, without anger. If you're afraid of losing someone or losing a relationship, then you need to look at that friendship or relationship again. Is that the relationship that you want? Does that relationship or friendship bring you joy? Or does that relationship harm you? Do you look at the relationship the way it is and the way it's supposed to be? Remember, the relationship I'm talking about is not limited to love relationships. This includes friends and family. There are some ways to deal with anger towards a person. So don't be scared that you will hurt yourself in the process and suppress it. Phone the person. I know a lot of people don't like conflict. But if you don't face that conflict and you don't face that situation, you're going to just repress it. And you're going to repress that anger, and you're going to have a vicious circle all over again. So phone the person and tell them that you need to talk. Either in person or over the phone if they're too far away and you can't get to them. You can even use Skype, Zoom, or whatever you want. If you say to them directly, I am angry and want to talk, then you are manipulating them. Make time with them to discuss it and arrange a time and place. Okay, what is it that you want to talk about? Think about that. Is it anger at the person, or are you angry at the person for what happened to you 10 years ago? And that person triggered it. Be sure you can sit and be quiet with yourself. Or find it through letters, or whatever, but find the reason for it. Now here's the thing. Convey your thoughts in a positive way. Think of the way you want to say it. Don't start attacking, and listen to each other. This is one thing that people struggle with, is to listen to others. Everybody wants to give their point of view, but they don't want to sit back, be quiet, and listen. And in this situation, it is important to sit and listen to each other. Deal with the effect that you're going to have on them. See how they react. Maybe they've got fear. If so, then you must talk about it. Do not leave them with a fear and walk away. Because what's going to happen? They're going to return the anger to you again. Release it positively with them, and then let it go. Maybe you realize that you were ridiculous, and then you take responsibility for it and you said it right. This will create a basis for the two of you to start talking again. This creates a way for a new friendship and for new understanding. If you have anger toward a person who has passed away, I found this quite a lot in dealing with people. They are angry of what somebody did that passed away. Now, to deal with it, if you go onto my YouTube site, you search under Nicholas, you'll see there's a whole range of recordings, the numbers from 1 to 7, and then there's a specific one on bereavement. In the bereavement recording, there's a section where you can actually deal, if you've got anger or any feelings, whatever you're holding onto, or what you want to say to the person, there's a part in the recording that deals with that. It is designed that way, and it works. So go take the recording, listen to it, and listen to it a few times. Maybe it's going to take one session for you to listen, and maybe it's going to take a few. But listen to the recording and deal with your anger in that recording. And don't hold on to your anger. Anger is not a good thing to hold on to. And if something makes you angry in these days, go and sit and analyze and think why. And if you do have any questions, and you feel you need to talk, most of you have my WhatsApp address. You have my email. Please contact me, or if there's something specifically in my talks. By the way, my talks are from Mondays, same time 3, until this lockdown is over. It'll be a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday at 3 o'clock. And if there's something specific that you want to cover or you want to discuss, and hopefully I can sort out the software problem that I had today, and once again I apologize for that, please let me know, and I will look into it and we can have a discussion. Maybe it's something that everybody else would be interested in saying. So ask the questions. I'll read the questions. Unfortunately, I can't see them today. And I hope you have a blessed time, and please look after yourselves and look after your families. Deal with the anger. And if you feel that they maybe need to listen to this recording, please let them do it. And so everybody move forward, and especially in these times, and live a happy life. Thank you for watching, and may you and your families be blessed.